Now we will study the gerund. A gerund equals participle. Participle equals a word formed from a root. What's a participle? A root word without an ending. So there's no t, te, anti. So there's no ending at the end. That's why you will never see a gerund with an ending. Okay, so gerund equals participle. Participle equals a root which forms a verb, except this time you don't need to add endings. For example, take gum, right? That's a root for go. Now from gum, we create gotcha, never mind how, there's some rules there. And then you add this ending. What it's saying here is a participle that is a gerund, means same gum, so it's formed from gum, but there's no ending. Ending, there's no ending. This is good news for us. Don't need to memorize more paradigms. It indicates prior action, past tense, not future. Sentence, Rama speaks and goes, could be formed with a gerund. In other words, after speaking, Rama goes. After speaking to Sita, or after speaking to Lakshman, Rama goes to the forest. Let's stick to the example of spoken. After speaking or having spoken, same thing, you can alternate, whichever makes more sense to you. Uditwa, that means after speaking, Rama goes. You know this already, Ramaha gachati. So all you're doing is you're adding the gerund before the nominative. That's the rule. The gerund will never go after, it's always going to go before the nominative. In other words, the gerund is always going to come first thing in the sentence. So that's why they're so easy to recognize. So if I put here Sitam, right? Sitam uditwa Ramaha gachati.
Having spoken to Sita, Rama goes?
Yeah, simple. So all you do is just put an accusative here and you put a gerund, accusative plus GD, gerund, and you've got your gerund ready. The gerund is used with only one subject. In other words, only with the one nominative in the sentence. So what it's saying here is this GD is only used with one single nominative in the entire sentence. It's never going to refer to two nominatives or two or three, only one. In other words, the gerund is always referring to the one singular nominative, the one subject in the sentence. Okay, without reading 6 and 7, let's summarize here. The doer of the gerund is also the doer of the main verb. Having spoken, who's speaking? Rama. So Rama is the doer of having spoken, but Rama is the doer also of going. That means one nominative is the doer of both the gerund and the main verb in the sentence. Gerund is always the same, no matter what the tense the verb is. So in the future, when we use future tense and past tense, the gerund is going to remain exactly the same, irrespective of whether this is a future, whether it is a past tense, whether it is any other tense. Okay, number 3, always comes after the accusative nouns. As I said, always comes, so the accusative, it comes, so accusative is position 1, gerund is position 2. That's the rule, every single time. It's not going to be different any time. How to form? Root plus twa. G is a root for jaya, overcome. So G plus twa, if G means to overcome or to conquer, then G twa means having conquered, having overcome. So that's what 6 and 7 are saying. Now you can also say multiple gerunds. So let's look at this example. Gajam drishtva Ramaha gachati. After seeing the elephant, Rama goes. Now, what if you say after seeing the elephant, after talking to Sita, after eating, Rama goes? Same thing. You just put these gerunds like that. So, Gajam drishtva, in other words, gerund number 1, after seeing the elephant, Jalam labdwa. This is, I know there's no twa there, so that's a sandhi at play. So that's gerund number 1, gerund number 2. Gerund number one, gerund number two. There's number two here. Having seen the elephant, having obtained water, Rama goes. So you can just keep on going like this. In other words, after Rama saw the elephant, after Rama obtains the water, only then he goes.
So there's no and, Andre.
No need for and, yeah, no need for cha. It wouldn't hurt if you put cha here, but unnecessary because the gerunds are very clear of themselves. It's basically just accusative plus GD. Okay, so these are the examples. Seeing the elephant, obtaining the water, Rama goes. A better way is to say, put the word having or after. It's not going to be confusing. It's going to ensure that it is a past tense. So this one is a no. This one after is yes. And having seen the elephant, we erase this. Having seen the elephant and having obtained the water, Rama goes. This one's a yes. Number 8, everything that goes with the gerund is placed before it. As I said, accusative first, gerund second. The gerunds are easy to recognize because they're not declined like a verb. There's no endings, special endings. They're always going to be the same. They're formed by the root plus toi. If there's a prefix behind the verb, what is a prefix? Agachati. So in this case, instead of using toi, you're going to say ya. Why ya? Because there is a prefix. Okay, and here are the words to remember. Agachati, he comes. Agamya, having come. Gatwa, having gone. Chint, chintayati, chintayitwa, having thought about. Ji, jayati, jitwa, having conquered, having overcome. Drish or pash, same root, pashyati. Drishtwa, having seen. Pat, pathati. Pathitwa, prach, prachati, prishtwa, having asked. Okay, bhash, bhashate, bhashitwa, having said. Bhu, bhavati, bhutwa, having been. Man, manyate, matwa, having thought. Labh, labhate, labdwa, having obtained. I believe this is a common one. Vad vadati uditwa, having said. Vas vasati ushitwa, having lived. Sev sevate, remember that long E's, please. Sevitwa, having served. After serving. Sta tishtati, stitwa, having remained, having stood. Smr, smarati, smrtwa, having remembered.